Welcome back, DragonCon. Crispy here, and I have John Noble. John has come back from afar. John, thank you for coming back, sir.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Now, you were once here about 10 years ago, you said, and so this is, it's been a bit of a sabbatical for you, but in that time you've been a little busy,
Yes,
I would imagine.
I have, yeah.
So you recently had your stint with Sleepy Hollow, and then I believe now you're moving on to Elementary, I believe?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so you have some really good stuff coming up then.
Yeah, and I had the 5 years of Fringe in the meantime.
Which was, personally for me, one of the most emotional journeys I've ever been on. So thank you for that. Your final cassette tape in the final episode, just every time it's one of those moments where I'm just a wreck. So very emotional story there.
Yeah, it was the final scenes with Josh Jackson were truly emotional.
Oh, right. I imagine, you guys being on that particular show, it had the family feel, because you guys were mostly close.
Well, we were close, and I still, I thought of a lot of them, because I'm older, I thought a lot of them as sort of my children. So I've remained very close with Anna and Josh and Jessica in particular, and Blair Brown.
Yeah, we had Jessica a couple of years ago. She's just delightful.
Who was?
Jessica was here. Yeah, we had Jessica and Matt Nable as well. Not Matt Nable,
and Blair Brown I run into all the time. That's about it, really.
Fair enough, yeah, it's a good touch. Well, you end up doing a lot of, I want to say just like epic roles. It's kind of like when you hear John Noble, you hear, epic. And so one of the things that you just did recently was the voice acting. You did the Scarecrow in Arkham Knight. That must have been a really cool experience.
That was a great experience. It took us over 2 years to do the voice. Because the voice was happening as they were developing the graphics, and then we'd look and then things would change, and it was a great journey to work with, and the end result was amazing.
Oh yeah, personally I played the game from start to finish, and just everything about that was just amazing.
There was, the interesting thing that I found with the producers there was they said right from the beginning, we're going to make a flawless game. We don't want to put out something that's got mistakes in it.
Right.
And so they kept on working and working and working. We put the launch back a couple of times just so everything could be worked. And I love that. I love that perfectionism.
Yeah.
And so when it finally was released, I knew that it was going to please the gamers.
Yeah, right.
We in fact did a big launch in London a couple of months ago where they had the Batmobile and I was there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great fun.
You didn't get to drive it though, or like just tearing through the streets of London.
No. But it was the real thing. They brought it over from Los Angeles for the launch.
What sounds like it would have been a wonderful time. When you do your big premieres like that, and obviously you have the conventions, and then you come to, what's like one of your favorite aspects about being able to interact with the audience and the fans like that?
I think because I came into film and television late in my career, I'd been in theatre for the first many years. I realised very early just how important the fan response was.
Right.
And that's mainly going back to Lord of the Rings. I suddenly realised there's a new voice in the world, and that's become more and more so. And then I do believe it was Josh Jackson and I did the first live feed too, years ago in Vancouver. Of course now Twitter and Instagram have become absolutely massive, and I certainly use Twitter.
All right.
So
do you find that to be like a really interactive method to communicate?
The interesting thing is to understand is that I came in late, so I didn't come in with any pretensions of, I'm doing this because I'm special.
Right.
I came in to realise you're doing it because people like what you're presenting to them. Whatever character you're presenting has made some sort of impact. And it's not actually John Noble, it's what that represents.
Right.
There's a difference. So that I understood intuitively, and then I was kind of always very grateful that people
That's
did
understandable,
that.
so yeah.
So I come in and I really enjoy talking to people. That's why I come. And I'm incredibly grateful that fans have enabled me to keep going because they can close a person down or a show down.
Very quickly in this day and age, too. So
in the last few years, yeah.
There's definitely been a shift with technology and social media.
Social media now
can make or break things faster than any Nielsen family could.
Oh my lord, so much faster. And I can tell you now that the networks and studios follow Twitter so closely. so closely.
I imagine it's what they've always kind of wanted. Here's the direct feedback that we're getting, and whether or not we can keep things going.
Right. But it can certainly get a show, the direction of a show change. It can close shows down.
It does. And it can keep shows coming back for more.
Even though the ratings may have slipped, the fan base is huge. And the business people then go, okay, well, it may be not here, but it will be later.
Right.
And with Fringe in particular, Fringe is now bigger than it ever was, by far. I've just come back from time in Europe. It's massive there, as they've got to see it.
Right.
And it's been released, and similarly with Netflix here, the Fringe is bigger by far than it ever was.
When you get to the streaming, it's a lot easier to distribute out, and a lot more people get involved with it.
Well, that's where Nielsen's aren't really as effective at all as they used to be, because I mean, how many people do sit down at 10 o'clock on a Thursday night to watch something anymore?
Yeah, not anymore. There was a time, that was the ritual.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a while ago. So. Is there like a particular show or a fandom of sorts that you like that is kind of your personal love?
Not at present. Not at present. There have been times when there have been. We watched Homeland pretty.
Huge fan of that show.
Yes.
Yeah.
My wife always loved The Good Wife, so she was thrilled when I got to go on that, and she came along to set one day. And
that was been a personal treat for her.
Yeah, it was great, and they were lovely, lovely people.
Well, very cool.
So that was cool. At this stage, I don't know, because I've got to wait to see what's opening up.
Yeah.
But,
well, and you keep pretty busy, thankfully. So I mean, I would imagine there's not a whole lot of time. So.
No, not really. But it's also for me getting, because I'm quite from another era. Getting used to the fact that things are streamed.
Yeah.
That you don't have to watch at 10 o'clock Thursday night if you don't want to, and. Because I have so many other things I do in my life, I actually haven't caught up with all of that. So,
fair enough. It'll get there, and then you'll become the binge watcher like the rest of us
are.
I
know. I've heard about binge watching. It's amazing.
That's how I watched Fringe, actually, the first 3 seasons.
I first heard of it with Lord of the Rings, when people used to get the
marathon sessions,
and watch them the whole weekend. That's the first I heard.
I still have friends that do that, and the Lord of the Rings parties are still a huge thing. Huge. Especially with The Hobbit being released. So. Yes. Yeah, it's really fascinating in that regard. Like, what was just, I'll catch things at an hour, more and more people are just like, let me get like 3 or 4, let me get a backlog, and then I'm just going to spend this day enjoying this product that I love.
Well, didn't Netflix sort of set that up by with Game of... what was the show? Game of Cards?
They had House of Cards.
House of Cards,
was their first big one.
And the first thing they did was release all of it.
All at one time, yeah.
And the world said, "What are you doing? This must be right."
This is crazy, but everyone jumped on board.
Yeah, look at what's happened there, and so they changed the game.
Yeah, they really
very much so.
Well, I would like to think they changed it for the better, because it makes it more accessible.
Of course, it's for the better. Look, the thing to do, the thing that we worked out now, is that people somehow have to get paid out of this too. So
that's very important. That's very true.
So unless you, and that's still going through the motions of, if we give all this away, then who gets paid?
Sure.
And it's the same in the music industry.
Very much so, yeah.
So that's an issue which a lot of executives are scratching their head about all the time. But obviously they're working out some algorithms that make it work.
I mean, it's work. I mean, you have Hulu's got big shows, Amazon, Netflix is doing something right, obviously. I can only hope that they keep on doing it.
It's the thing of the future, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you know that the networks are looking very, very carefully to see what to do, because free-to-air television, which was so important to all of us, is now becoming...
It was the foundation for everything.
Foundation for society, really, is now not so much anymore.
Yeah.
So they're watching to say, what can we do?
Yeah.
They're already taking notice of the +3s and the +7s and all these figures, which they never did before.
No. Well, I've got one favor to ask of you. We have random questions that the DragonCon audience submits through Facebook and Twitter and things like that.
Okay.
So what I would like to do, we call this asking for a friend. Draw a card at random, hand it to me. And this could be a make or break scenario here. Let's hope it's a good one. All right.
If it's not, I want another one.
All right, that's fair. This is actually an excellent one. So I'm asking for your friend, John. If you could travel anywhere in time, when would you like to go? Is there a certain time period that that stands out?
I would like to go back probably to Paris at the beginning of the 20th century, probably before World War I because that stage was, to me, astonishing when I read about it, the
Right.
number of artists and
It's a very
writers.
bohemian moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
and just to be there, I think. Was it Woody Allen did a film called Midnight in Al-
Yeah, not that long ago. Yeah.
And that was a superb film, but it was just captured this. And I still read about these people with awe, so I'd
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
go back and hang out with them. That'll be my choice.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah.
Well, John, thank you for letting us get to meet the bohemian in you, and
Thank you.
thank you again for coming on out.
Pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
guys. Good to see you.